If you've seen my videos, you know the very first thing that I do when I come home from work is change into something cozy. If you're new, my name is Rebecca and I work a 9 to 5, technically 8:30 to 4:30 office job. I am a closing agent at like a real estate investing company, so I work in the office at a desk every day. Basically, my job involves drafting all of the closing documents for the investor, making sure that the closing documents get signed, making sure we get the money in, and just basically ensuring that the closing goes smoothly. I have been doing this for about 2 years now since I graduated college, and I'm actually going to talk later in this video all about how I got a job after college. A little fun fact is that I actually majored in psychology, so I am not even using my major from college. So yeah, if you want to hear all about how I got the job, stay tuned for it later in this video. Today is actually a very, very realistic and typical workday in my life. On work days, I typically don't plan too much because I tend to get really tired and drained after being in an office all day. So my evenings are typically spent cooking dinner, eating, hanging out with my husband, watching TV or reading, and also editing. I do a lot of my editing on weeknights as well. If I seem a little bit more quiet today, it's actually because I'm really tired. We actually went to my cousin's wedding in New Jersey this past weekend, and it was Memorial Day weekend, so the wedding was on Sunday and we drove back yesterday on Monday. So I definitely am feeling super tired. So it's currently about 5:45 and I'm gonna go start on dinner. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I want to share a little bit about how I got a job after graduating college. So let me back up and start by saying my whole life I wanted to be a teacher. I actually went to Tech Center for Child Development my senior year of high school and I loved it, but I just kind of decided that okay, maybe that's not the career path that I want to go down. So when I got into college, I actually majored in psychology like I mentioned. And I picked psychology because I looked at the entire list of majors and that was the only one that I was like actually interested in, and I genuinely love people. I love learning about people. Fast forward towards the end of college, I still did not know what I wanted to do, what career path I wanted to go down. If you want to do something in a psych-related field, you have to continue on with school. You should get your master's or your PhD. I was pretty much done after my bachelor's. I didn't really want to go back to school. I didn't want to pay for it. School is expensive. I digress. So basically, when I graduated, I had no idea what job to look for, what I was doing. So ultimately, this is how I found a job right out of college. I went on Indeed, I went on ZipRecruiter, I Googled on the internet, and I started searching for like administrative assistant positions, just very, very broad office jobs. And so I started applying to a lot of different positions. I eventually stumbled upon a temp agency. At the time, I had literally never heard of a temp agency. And for those of you who don't know, a temp agency matches you with an employer. Basically, when you get a job through a temp agency, from what I know, for the most part, they are temp to hire, meaning they start out as like a short-term thing, but if the company wants to hire you on permanently, they can, and if not, then the temp agency will just match you with another job at the end of your term there. Luckily for me, the company decided to keep me on, and I have been there ever since. So I've been with my current company for 2 years. I started out as a closing assistant, quickly got promoted to closing agent, and am currently a senior closing agent. There are a lot of different temp agencies out there, and honestly, I'm not even familiar with all of them, but I know that if you do a quick Google search, you might be able to find ones that are in your area. I know coming out of college and even high school, it can feel so overwhelming and scary to find a job. And I'm so, like, the people that do know exactly what they want coming out of college, they are lucky. But I know that there are a lot of people out there like me who literally did not know what to look for and what to do. Now, I do want to say I'm so grateful for the job that I have. I have amazing coworkers. It's a really great company. But I also want to say I have not found exactly what I want to do with my life. And I think that by working there, I've kind of learned that the office 9-to-5 life isn't my ideal work life. I would love a fully remote job. I feel really drained having to go into the office, but I just keep reminding myself how grateful I am that I even have a job. Ideally, I would absolutely love to make YouTube a career for me. That is like a dream. And I don't know if that's even possible, but that's what I'm aiming towards. But in the meantime, I'm planning on staying with this company and trying to just figure out what I want to do with my life. Eventually, I also want to have kids, and I would love to stay home with the kids. And all of that to say, that is just one way to get a job, is to use a temp agency and just keep applying to places. Every time that you get an interview, think of it as another way to just practice your interviewing skills. So for those of you who just graduated college, or for those of you in general who are trying to find a new job, I wish you the best of luck. You got this. Now I'm going to continue on with my night, and I think I'm going to read a little. As you guys know, for those of you who have watched, my goal is to read 1 book a month. And okay, so today's the 30th of May, and tomorrow is the last day of May, and I don't even think I'm halfway through the book, unfortunately. Yeah. But I'm going to read tonight, see how much I can read, and then probably read tomorrow too, and see how much of this book I can get done. But I also don't want to like force myself to read just to try and finish a book. I want to read because I genuinely enjoy it. And I do really, really enjoy this book. But I just have not had, I was going to say I have not had the time, but I also want to say I've not made the time. And that's totally on me. I think that I'm still trying to learn how to balance having a YouTube channel while also working full time. That has been really hard because to edit each of these videos, it takes like probably over 15 hours. And that's just to edit. That's not even including the filming process. So that's something I'm still trying to learn, is like how to have time for things other than work and YouTube. But I'm learning it, and at least on my filming days, I typically don't edit while I'm filming, so I can spend more time on self-care, such as reading a book. Okay, so it's currently 9:05. I made it to page 142 and I'm still not even halfway through the book. It's definitely a good book, but I've been having trouble like shutting my mind off and just being completely focused on the book. So I found myself having to like reread a lot of the sentences over and over just to try and like comprehend it. Anyway, I was getting really tired while reading. My eyes were like drooping, and honestly, like I said, this past weekend I barely got any sleep. So I definitely want to go to bed early tonight.